forwarded me information that you had some information that you wanted to share with us. I gave you a call, invited you down, and that's kind of how we ended up here. In the room is Investigator Jim Post. I'm and Jim Reddick. And let me start. Today is the 20th of March, and it is 8:41 in the morning. And I guess you have something you want to tell us about George Zimmerman that he did to you? That's what I understood from yesterday? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let me get you to start at the beginning of what happened.
It started when I was 6. He's about almost 2 years older than I am, and my parents were moving from Louisiana to Orlando, and they sent us, me and my sister, up to while they were moving. That's my earliest memory of him just trying to do things. And
where were you at this time when you were remembering 6 years old?
We would watch movies in front of the TV, and we would all lay in front of the TV, and we would have pillows and blankets.
This was in?
Yes.
Okay.
And he would reach under the blankets and try to do things, and I would try to push him off, but he was bigger and stronger and older, and it was in front of everybody. And I don't know how I didn't say anything, but I just didn't know any better. And
was this under a blanket, though, that he was doing it?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they didn't know what was happening, the other people?
No.
Okay.
Another time.
What city was this in? Can I spell that? Right, that's correct. Spell it again. Was he living there at that time too?
Yes, he was living there. We were just visiting while my parents were moving.
Okay. Whose house was this actually where you were at when this was happening?
His parents.
And can you be a little specific? We've both been at this a very long time, so you're not going to say anything that's going to shock us or offend us. It may be a little awkward for you, but I need you to try to be specific as to, what he did.
He would put his hands in under my pants and under my underwear and basically just finger me, I guess it's...
But, I mean, if that's... Did he put his finger inside you?
Yes. And there were other times that he did things too, but he would always call them, before we left the room or left any place, he would say, we weren't doing anything, we were just laying down, or we were just playing hide and seek. He would always make sure that he told me that, and I didn't know. I was a kid, I didn't know any better, and at one time I told my sister, and I thought I was telling them, because they asked, what were you guys doing? And I said, I didn't know, and I said, we were laying down. And I thought that I was telling them, and they just ignored it. And I just went to sleep crying because I didn't know better. But there were times where, another time, he told me that he had to have surgery on his penis because it had been pinching them, and that he couldn't pee, and he had to have surgery. So he made me see it and see the scars and see his penis basically. And
where was that at? at the same house?
Mm-hmm.
And at what time was that age were you?
We were older. We were in our early teens. I want to say maybe 12. I was 12. He must have been almost 14.
When he did that, did he have you do anything to his penis, or did he just show you?
Just rub it.
Just rub it. And did anything happen as you were rubbing his penis?
Mm-hmm. I came in the room. She came in the room.
Did she see this?
She was busy. She was older. I mean, they didn't pay attention to a lot of the things that happened. There were other times. I mean, these are just the ones that I remember.
Sure. And as you're remembering, if we can put it kind of in a time sequence, I mean, we've got the first one. It started at age 6 under the blanket where he put his finger in you. Do you remember what the next incident?
Oh gosh, behind the curtains in my living room.
How old were you then? As you remember.
I just remember she must have been at least 5 or 6. She was older, so I was at least 7 or 8.
Okay. How long were you before you moved?
This is just different times that we visited.
Okay, so this is over several days.
Every time that we would go up there, I could just look at him, and he would give me a certain look, and I would know if it was going to happen when we got together for family gathering. Because he just got this look in his eye like he was going to.
So did you go up to visit often? How many times a year would you say?
At least once a year. We would take trips together. There were times where, I mean, it's not just me that he did these things to, but I know that she would never come forward.
You said? What is her name?
She said she would deny it either way.
Have you discussed it with her? I mean,
A few years back, and she told us flat out, I'm not saying it. I'll deny it. If anybody ever brings it up, I'm telling them I didn't. It never happened. But.
And you started to say behind the curtains. What happened behind the curtains?
He would just a lot of kissing and groping and.
Can you describe groping a little bit?
He would put his hands under my shirt and just rub and grab my chest and put his hands on my pants again and just more the same stuff, doing his fingers.
Okay. That was on another annual visit when you went up there, and that was when you were around 7 or 8, best you recall. What do you recall next?
I was probably 13 or 14, and I had a boyfriend at the time. And
where were you at when this happened? Same house?
And he was just right behind me, pressing himself, all up against me and doing the same thing, just putting his hands all over me and saying things about the guy that I liked, and he ended up being my boyfriend, but he was saying things like, why do you like him? Why can't you like me? And, why is he so much better than me? And
okay.
Just things like that.
And what physically was he doing to you at this time while he was, how were you laying?
I was laying on my side, away from him.
Okay.
He was laying behind me.
Okay.
And he had bunk beds at the time we were on the top bunk, so if anyone walked in the room, they couldn't see. But I was laying away, he was laying behind me, and he was just rubbing my chest and doing the same things.
The
And
same
kissing
thing, meaning,
the back of my neck and
did he touch you down below?
that time he didn't actually go into my pants, no.
Okay. Did he touch you above your pants, panties?
Yes,
What were you wearing? Pants or panties or?
I think just shorts and a t-shirt, jean shorts,
Okay. And what was he doing up top?
just rubbing my chest, usually.
And that was at 13 or 14, huh?
But by the time that he went down here, I was old enough and I knew that stuff wasn't normal. And I always felt like it wasn't, but I had had enough. And I was scared of what else was going to happen. And when he moved down here and he had his bedroom all set up, he told me that, you know, people were coming by and were going to see the house. And I had never seen the house. I bought the house in Lake Mary, and they were still up north just finishing out working and going to sell their house and going through all of that process. But I guess they got a good deal here, so they went ahead and bought the house.
Mm-hmm.
When George graduated high school, he moved down here.
Okay, how old were you at this time?
I was 16.
You were 16, okay.
And Georgie had moved